Hello there, and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster. Happy to be with you tonight. We're live, as we usually are on Thursday nights, and have a good show planned for you. Lots of interesting things. And yeah, so we'll have some photos of the week and things that are happening in and around the city. And boy, it's been a busy week from last time we spoke up until now. It's just a busy time of year. Graduation is coming, and awards and so many different activities. Yeah, it's a busy time. Let's go right to the phones and hook up with Art for the Art Report.
Larry Walpe says hello.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, he's the vice principal at my grandson's school.
That's right.
In Framingham, Carter Road School.
How's he doing?
No, he's doing good. Doing good.
Good guy.
Seems like he's in his environment.
He's a good man. He was he worked at WEIM. Then he went off, as I said before, he went off to like Rochester, New York, and then he did a show in El Paso called Good Morning El Paso, I think was the name of the show. It was the first show that I watched over the internet, streaming. It was pretty cool. And now
he's come a long way from EIM as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then he worked at Channel 56, I think, for a while, or Channel 4.
I'd like to thank the DPW for patching up some of Judy Drive.
Good. We got to. At some point, we'll have to do those streets over. I keep thinking that's a new street.
You know, it was in great shape until they started development at the end of the street, and the trucks just tore it up.
Yeah, that's what happens. So, are you ready for your song of the week?
Ready.
Oh, turn your TV down, if you could. All right. So here's the way it goes.
Love is in you. Will you love me tomorrow? You know who made that a big hit? Well, the Shirelles made it the big hit, but Carole King also cut that.
Yeah. Can you turn the monitor up there, out here? I can't really hear that good. There you go. That is the Shirelles.
Yes, it is.
Will you still love me tomorrow? And that's the question.
Absolutely. Everybody loves Mr. Mitt, the Dean Man.
Well, some days they do, and some days they don't. Right? That's changes.
Yeah. Great picture of you and Mr. Benghazi on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Partners back 1980s, early 80s, right through till I ran for office.
Yeah, he kept me safe at Johnny Appleseed, I'll tell you.
That's right. Hey, guess what?
What?
We got to take a break.
What?
We're taking a break. And we're coming right back.
Good night, buddy.
All right. Thank you for the full art report. And, well, before we leave, wait a minute. Before we leave, we have a couple of traditions here at Inside Leominster. One is we try to stump Art every week, and he's 100% on. He hasn't lost one yet. He knows the name of the artist and the name of the song. If anybody would like to try to challenge Art, no one has. A few have said they would, but then it didn't materialize. That's fine. But if somebody would like to challenge Art, we'll bring you on the show. You can sit with Art and play a few songs and see who can guess them. See if somebody can stump Art. Now, we haven't had a rainy misty blue Thursday in a long time. Like a long time, right, Jay? Like months and months. We haven't had a rainy Thursday night, but we do.
It's
so
been
the
quite a
tradition
while.
here is to play
Okay.
our special song,
Here it comes.
Misty Blue.
Oh, it's been such a long, long time. Look like I get you off of my mind, but I can't. Just the thought of you turns my whole world misty blue. Oh, honey, just the mention of your name turns the flicker to a flame. Listen to me, good baby. I think of the things we used to do, and my whole world turns misty blue. Oh, baby, I should forget you. Heaven knows I've tried. Baby, when I say that I'm glad we're through, deep in my heart I know I've lied. I've lied. I've lied.
There you go. Turns a flicker to a flame. We're going to take a short break right here at Inside Leominster. The phone number, by the way, for any of our guests or questions during the night, 537-7760. That's a 978, obviously, but 978-537-7760. That's the number to call. My name is Dean Mazzarella. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
There's nothing I won't do, anything you want me to. Can't keep my hands off you. When you hold me in your arms, you shove up by me with your charms, and I just don't give a damn. My heart beats. I don't see you every day, but in my own little way, ooh, I love you. Oh, it really makes me wanna freak. So sweet, sweet enough to eat. It's good. You're when you hear my little fears, why not send only tears?
Hey, we're back with a little heartbeat. A little heartbeat. And we had some misty blow to celebrate the beautiful misty weather that we're having and rain, which we need for our lawns and our reservoirs. And they say, right, the myth, I guess, urban legend, call it what you wish, is you do not plant plants unless they're cold weather plants until Memorial Day. So the tomatoes and corn and everything else who will need it. And Memorial Day just coming up this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a couple of minutes, but we have a couple of guests from the Fitchburg, Leominster, Twin City Boys and Girls Club. Ladies, welcome to the show. Kelly Hartnett and Donata Martinen are both here from the Boys and Girls Club. The place is busy. Every time I go by there, every time I go in, it's quite a facility.
That's right.
It's a busy place.
It's a busy place.
Always something going on.
And we calculated our average daily attendance for the month of April.
Couple hundred
No, and even with a week's break, 308 kids
per day.
for the month. Yep, average daily attendance
That's
per day.
wild, huh?
So there were 225 juniors, 8 to 12-year-olds, and 83 teens.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
And there's something there for everybody.
There is.
I don't care what you like to do, there's something there for them, right?
There is.
Great place.
Yeah.
So you have this fundraiser, fun day coming up, right?
Yes.
Coming up June 4th. It's just a week away, right?
week. Yep.
Is it,
Just
is,
It's just about a week.
is it a week? Oh, my
Well,
word.
it's this coming Sunday.
like-
A week from this coming Sunday.
Just
so
like yesterday, I thought, somebody said something about Memorial Day. I'm like, oh, a couple weeks away, right? No, that's this week, weekend. And time just flies this
It
time of year.
does.
Goes quick. So it's coming up on June 4th. It's a Great Futures 5K and run and walk, right? So you can run or walk. And registration's at 9 a.m. Race starts at 10:30. Registration online, greatfutures5k.com. And it's a fundraiser to help to just run the facility, or does it have a specific, does the funds that you raise in this have a specific use?
yeah, just go into the operating funds. Helping to fund the different programs, and it just directly goes into those programs that we have at the club.
Now, most of the Boys and Girls Club has to come from donations, right? To
It
keep
does.
it alive.
It does.
So every day is like a fundraising day, right?
Every day.
And, people get a chance to take a tour. They can call Donata and go up and take a tour. Maybe there's some skill or some talent that you have that you'd like to share with the students. Is beekeeping and music and all kinds of
Yeah, and sports
physical ed
and
and sports and
aviation. They
yoga
went out
and
to the airport.
aviation
Yeah.
and
Yesterday, built little
Yeah.
drones.
drone flying.
Yeah.
and
I was there. It was very, very
That's
cool.
cool, huh? Drones.
They were super excited. I didn't get to fly it though, unfortunately.
You
They
didn't?
said I had to go on the simulator first to get my feet wet
To
and
get
then
qualified.
Right, but always looking for volunteers out in the community. So
Good. So there's something there for every student to do, every child to do.
There is.
It's interesting and fun. And so if you'd like to take a tour, you'd like to know more about it, or you'd like to make a donation, it's a great place because you can guarantee that the funding is going to go to these boys and girls up there who are keeping themselves busy and out of trouble and building new friendships because it's kids from both Leominster and
In
Fitchburg, right?
Yes, and some kids from homeschool children.
Right, who go
As
there
well,
in the afternoon.
yes.
The Boys and Girls Club started, for this area, we started off as a Worcester organization, and we tried everywhere to find a location, and as a result, we ended up at the Veterans Center, which is a city-owned building, but it was for years being used by the veterans. And so they knew, we sat down one night and had a good conversation on a Monday night, explained to them that we're having a very difficult time trying to find a place to kick off the sort of the charter of the Boys and Girls Club, because cities never had one. And after maybe not even a half hour of conversation, they agreed to let us use their facility, the Veterans Center over on Pond and West Street. And we charted out with the Worcester group, right? It was the Worcester group we sort of jumped in with, and started out with the director / staff member, a few volunteers, and maybe 6 to 9 kids, and that's what started the Boys and Girls Club. Imagine that. And now 300 and something
right.
kids. That's amazing.
A
That's
day,
so good to
yeah,
hear.
Yeah, and we've registered since September just about 700 children.
Wow.
So,
That's great.
they come and go with the sports
course.
season, but then some of them are there the full year, but enough that we can average 308 a day.
And a lot of those kids turn into the instructors, right? Or turn
They
into paid
do,
staff,
into
right?
paid staff.
That's a
and,
great thing.
Yeah, a number of them going off to college each year. Our robotics team this year went
Did
to the
very well.
World Championships
very
in
well.
St. Louis. Yes.
That's awesome.
So it's, like you said, so much for the kids. We have basketball league going on right now. And bees. We have new bees. So
New
we'll have
bees
more
this-
honey
yes,
going.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So a lot of fun.
Love my honey. Love my honey. Anyway, you can register online for this race. It's a 5K, run or walk. GreatFuturesFiveK.com. You can contact is it Carmen?
Carmen Ramos.
Carmen Ramos at 978-534-8558, extension 28. And, or you can just call the main number at Boys and Girls Club, and they will direct you to this Carmen Ramos and to this event. And again, even if you can't come and you'd just like to make a donation, it's how Boys and Girls Club pretty much survives, is on donation. And it's just amazing to see how many people, it's one visit through and you're a huge supporter. You know, how many people I walk through and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, oh, I'm just donating my time. So many people that I know that donate their time to the Boys and Girls Club. It's catchy.
And we appreciate that.
That's great. It's a
We do
great
appreciate
thing
the
to have.
volunteers.
And we run the public safety camp during the summer and a little bit of a boot camp. We hope to be able to expand that maybe this summer to add more kids.
I hope so. We enjoy having the
Yeah.
Junior Police Academy.
Yeah,
Yes,
and we
yes,
had the
enjoy
fire
that.
department added to that. So, what else is happening? Anything specific for the summer? Now that people will be thinking about what do I do with the kids during the summer? We offer a lot of programs at the rec department, but Boys and Girls Club is still open.
We do. We have a program that's called Summer Blast. Starts June 26th, then runs through August 4th or 5th. Yeah, that Friday, first week in August. And 6 weeks of fun, STEAM focused, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math for all 6 weeks. So 5 days a week, 8 a.m. we start early and go straight to 6 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
so-
day.
Weekly field trips. So we're taking the youth to Camp Collier and Gardner.
Really? Wow.
Every Thursday.
How cool.
Yeah.
Need a nap during the day or something. That's a long day for them kids, but boy,
It
they'll
is.
sleep good at night.
Exactly. Parents love it.
Boys and Girls Club is an international organization, correct?
is.
They're a big, big organization, and and so you meet with other Boys and Girls Club organizations, and they have national seminars and
Conferences,
conferences
they
and
do.
everything where you learn things and bring them back, right? Those good ideas that you
Yeah.
bring back.
We do.
Helpful to have
just-
a big mother organization like that to
Yeah.
help out.
It is. We just had our national conference in Texas.
Texas. How'd
First
you like
week
Texas?
in May. I didn't have a chance to go because
No,
my
you just-
robotics team was in
yeah.
St. Louis, so
Yeah, so you were hop, skipping, and jumping.
couldn't do both.
How many
Yeah.
times we go to these like conferences, you never get to leave the hotel or the conference
Right,
center. It's
right.
like people like, how was it? I'm like, I had a nice airport and the
Yeah.
hotel was nice and that was pretty much it, right?
Right.
Don't get a chance to explore.
No, not at
Just
all.
through the window at the airport usually, right? Through the shuttle in.
Yeah. So we also have during the summer our Go Launch, our
Mm-hmm.
Higher Orbits program, which we had last summer as well. And that's when the astronauts come in, and it's a whole 3-day
That's a really
program.
cool program. I've come
Yeah.
up a couple of times for that.
Yeah, so
that
that's
was really good.
That's mid-August. So that's up on the website as well if people
Wow.
are interested in registering for
How
that.
cool.
And they compete. They have a project, and it actually goes up to the International Space Station.
Wow.
So if kids are interested in that and families, that'll be mid-August, 3 days at the club.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So and then it'll be back to school again.
It's
Right after
funny,
that.
but I know people keep thinking it's like we're already planning for. I hate to say it, but you know our projects are in place. They're going. We're getting ready for the next season. Believe it or not.
Oh,
I mean
yeah.
that's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah, it's
Find
quick.
bathing suits at Target in January, right? And after July 4th, no one wants to pay full price for a bathing
and
suit. And
gloves.
off they come. They
Yeah.
bring in all the fall and back to school. Isn't
Skis.
it amazing how back to school was a week before school?
Yeah.
Back to school starts July 5th. Right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
How they've programmed us.
Yeah. It's
Whether you like it or
really
not,
is.
that's how you program.
And we're taking applications for the fall already. So people are calling, and we're actually accepting applications. So
That's great.
if people are interested, you can do that now.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anything else, ladies? Before we forget, this is the Great Futures 5K Run and Walk for the Boys and Girls Club, 365 Lindell Ave, Sunday, June 4th. Registration is at 9. Race starts at 10:30. Registration again, greatfuturesfivek.com. We forget anything?
Big barbecue that day.
Oh, that's right. There's always food involved. Very organized, I must say.
Thank you.
Barbecue, a DJ, a local DJ will be there. games and whatnot, and just I would encourage runners to pre-register because you do get a discounted rate online.
do.
So.
All right. Well, good job, ladies. Keep
So-
up the good work up there.
Thank you. Hopefully, we'll see you there.
I'd like, yeah. I think graduation is the third.
It's the
right?
third, right. So come
I'll
up and
stop
run.
by. Yeah, I'll do something.
Okay.
Run on my hands or something. Do something fun. Okay, taking a short break. We're coming back, and we have lots to share with you tonight here at Inside Leominster. Taking a break. Be right back. Yes, we will.
One is a check for $1,000 from the Stardust Hotel.
And another check for $1,000 from the Stardust Hotel. That's beautiful. Thank you.
And the organization, $5,000 check on behalf of my two grandchildren, Amanda and A.J. Lambert, because they're helping. You do that one more time, we're going to buy the furniture. Listen, I have a friend who loves what you do every year and who just wanted to come out. Would you send my friend out, please? Where is he? We just send him out here. Come here. All right, break it up. Break it up. What is this here? Break it up. I think it's about time, don't you?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's about time. We folk.
Should have been a Jew that did it.
We could whip the world without the guns of Navarro. There they are, folks.
I don't know.
How you been?
You know, it seems like we haven't seen each other for 20 years.
Well, you know, there was all those rumors about our breaking up, and then when I started the show and you weren't here, I believed it.
I'll show you guys to your room if you like. The lights are out upstairs, so follow me if you want.
Oh, he drinks a lot, this kid.
There you go. You know, it's kind of funny. We're back here to Inside Leominster, but they said Dean Martin, he didn't really drink. There was nothing really in that cup there but water, which is, I think, pretty interesting. But Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Jerry Lewis. It's always fun to watch. Always a good time to watch them. We're back, though, and we have lots to talk about. Let's see. We just talked about here's the brochure for the 5K. You'll see the signs all over town. They've done a great job sort of on their marketing. And we want to remind everybody that Rick's Kinder Camp, summer day camp for Boys and Girls Club, ages 4 to 13, established in 1938. So a lot of kids have gone through Rick's Camp. They do a great job up there. Notice the veterans and families. There's a free week of camp July 3rd to the 7th. There's no camp on the 4th because of the July 4th. But there's a free week of camp from July 3rd to the 7th. This is for children of veterans and deployed military. So your child will have a chance to daily swim and diving lessons, a variety of outdoor recreational games, the opportunity to learn to fish, receive rowing lessons in rowboats and canoes, and dozens of other children of his or her age to play with, a safe environment to learn new skills. So if you know somebody or you're that person, to have your children attend camp for free, July 3rd to the 7th, 978-537-3007. Once again, 978-537-3007, and that's Rick's Kinder Camp. Thanks to them. What a great, great, great opportunity for children, and a very, very, very nice thing for them to do at Rick's. Don't forget, Farmers Market on the Common. They have started back on the Common. If it should be inclement weather, make sure you go to City Hall because that's where they'll be. And they had a really good showing and a really good time this last Saturday, May through September outside. And again, unless it rains, 9 o'clock to 1. Free parking, all of downtown, family friendly, rain or shine, and new vendors are always welcome. And, you know, I believe it's free for vendors this year. They've started a new program, but you can apply online or go to Facebook. Facebook.com is by going to Leominster Marketplace. Let's see, where do we start? Some really cool stuff going on. Gardner Relay for Life kicks off June 9th. That's coming up soon, 2 weeks at Mount Wachusett Community College. I want to remind you again about that. Family Campout. Leominster Recreation Department is excited to introduce our family campout at Barrett Park. Along with playing games and enjoying pizza, families can tell ghost stories and have s'mores around the main campfire. After pizza, you'll play games, take a paddle boat ride on the pond, or bring your pole for fishing. The date is August 5th. The time is 1 o'clock. It's a Sunday. Barrett Park, $30 per family. Deadline to register is July 28th. Now, you have to bring your own tent and sleeping supplies. Also bring your own flashlights, bug spray, non-alcoholic drinks, snacks, and breakfast for the morning. Bathrooms will be open until 10 p.m. and then reopen in the morning. Porta potties will also be available for the entire evening. No private campfires allowed. Park rules will apply and are attached. Space is limited, so register. So a whole entire family can come up and spend the night in a safe environment. We'll even protect you from bears and lions and tigers. So that's coming up August 5th. We'll certainly talk more about that. If you have a tip about a crime or some illicit activity happening in town, you can go to LeominsterCrimeStoppers.com, tell you all the wonderful things that you can do and the ways that you can connect with local law enforcement. We're still selling our, I guess it's our blanket, Leominster blanket with all historic spots of Leominster. They're on sale at the mayor's office, $50 in all the really cool locations and historic spots, as I said. Dr. Feldman, 10th annual Dr. Feldman celebration for our children. Was last Sunday, very organized. The staff at the library does such a great job. The Feldman family makes the donation to pay the expenses, but we even had to train and just tons and tons of kids. We had a great time. Great storytelling and music and food and the train and, yeah, lots of entertainment. It was great. It was the 10th, and I'll tell you, it was something to remember. And remember, this is all about literacy and leaving the legacy of Dr. Feldman, who felt and believed with all of his heart that one of the greatest gifts we could give is to teach children to read. So that was last week. We had our citywide, the same day, we had our marketplace downtown, well attended. Also the same day, well, I should say the day before, Saturday was the marketplace. Saturday was the citywide yard sale. And boy, over 80 we had on the map, but it was probably close to 100 different locations. And people were just everywhere. It was incredible how many people were out in the neighborhood. Some people complained there was too many cars on the streets, too much going on in one day, but all in all, it was a good thing. And we also had Shoalin Farms Apple Blossom Festival. Great day, just the most perfect spring day, and we were lucky and fortunate to have it. So, yeah, that was what was happening last week, some of what was happening last week. Want to remind everybody, the Leominster Concert Series was to begin this evening. However, delayed because of bad weather, but Sonny does a great job, and he plans a couple of open days, a couple of open Thursdays in case of rain. So, some of what's happening. Let's see. Oh, let's go. Let's talk a little finance. There's obviously talk about the school budget. And so we had a public hearing the other day, and so we just want to share some information prior to the budget being submitted. We'll do a special show. I think we did one last year or the year before. Residents found it helpful. They found it helpful to the sense that we were able to kind of sort of give a state of the financial condition of the city, and explain it in less than sort of political jargon and acronyms. And I thought we did a good job, and so some have asked that we do it again. Actually, quite a few people have asked that we do that same sort of program again, so we'll try to set that up before the budget. And it's pretty much the same presentation that we'll give the City Council, but let's go. We'll start off with kind of where the city's been. Remember, 2008, 2009 was probably the greatest recession since the Great Depression. I wouldn't call it the Great Depression since the Great Depression, but I would say it certainly was the greatest or the worst economy since the Great Depression. And we'll sort of take it just a little at a time to show you a few slides to see exactly where the city's been in terms of funding in different spots of the city budget. So let's look at our local aid. Our net loss since 2009 to the present has been 21%. So we've actually received, you can see it starts at 2009, it goes all the way down each year. Some years were worse than others. Remember, 2010 and 11 were really bad, but you can see the funding right around 2011 to 201,000 to down in 2012 to 350,000. And all told, if you total it all up, it's 21% net loss to the city and state funds. If you look at the next slide, there we go. So this is the state required spending. This is the formula that you hear lots of talk about in terms of foundation budget, or this is what we call it the required, this is what you're required to spend. Do all cities and towns spend that required net school spending amount? No. A lot of communities, most of the larger cities in the state, have a very difficult time meeting those numbers. But look at the bottom line. If you look at what the required local contribution has been, it's gone up since 13 till now. It's gone up about 16, almost 17%, or about $4 million in the required. That's just required. That's required by the state. If you look at Chapter 78, which is the state assistance, it's actually gone up by $1 million, or 2.5%. I round everything off. It's actually gone up about 3%. For a net total from 2013 till 2017, it's gone up about $3.6 million. That's additional dollars that have gone to the school department. That's just in the required net school spending piece, which means that's the required piece that the city is obligated, or that's the goal that each community wants to reach. Let's go to, let's look at our next slide. So this is fiscal year 07 to 17. And again, this is the required local contribution summary. So the statewide average increase, statewide, from fiscal year 07 to fiscal year 17 was 21.5. If you look at Leominster, and we have a whole breakdown of communities all over the state, and I'm not going to bore you with that, and that's really such small lettering you'd never be able to sort of read it anyway. But if you look at Leominster's increase from fiscal year 2007 till fiscal 17, compared to the 21.5% state average increase, that's everybody. That's rich communities, poor communities. Leominster's increase is probably one of the largest in the state at 48.8. So almost 50% compared to 22% statewide average. Let's look at some communities around us. Notable, people will often say, well, Wachusett does this, or Neshoba does this, or Ashburnham, Leominster, Westminster does this, or Lunenburg does this. Let's look at what other communities have done compared to our 48, I rounded off 50% required local contribution. Okay, look at Fitchburg at 26, Lunenburg at 3.6, Ashburnham, Westminster at 29, Wachusett is at 13.1, and Neshoba is at 28.6. What does that mean? It means it's a lot easier to go over that required local contribution that the city gives. It's a lot easier to do that if your amounts that you're giving is less, right? I mean, so if your required spending is, it averages 3.6%, then you have a lot more flexibility in the city budget or the town budget to go over that amount, while the city of Leominster and Fitchburg struggles, right? Struggles because, well, Fitchburg's at 25%, but we struggle because we're at almost 50% just to meet that threshold. Let's go to the next slide, please. So Leominster City operating budget, obviously the school department is bigger. If you look at our budget, it's 65% plus free cash spending. So if you look at the total budget, you will see that the city's budget is about 41 million, and the school budget is about 70, let's round it off, 76 million. So 41 million versus 76 million, and that includes state funding, state assistance. But total budget is 65% goes to schools, 35% goes to the city budget. That's a total of $117 million. So Leominster's city's fiscal year, and that's the year we're in now, operating budget, 65% plus free cash spending of another 1.2 million almost, 1.2 million for schools. Next slide, please. The breakdown on city spending on other. So let's look, when we look at the required amount that the city is required to spend, and then you add some other things here that still go to schools but don't count. You cannot use this money. The areas that I'm showing you here now, all of this money that's spent on schools. This isn't spent on the senior center. This isn't spent on police or fire or any other department. This is only spent on schools. Leominster High School total cost, the Drake School roof and boiler, Fallbrook boiler. High school, and then we're going to look down below, if you look, because these are projects not financed permanently yet. Northwest School renovations and the Johnny Appleseed School renovations and roofs and boilers and windows. Those amounts are at the bottom. So what does that mean? It means that the city, where it says debt service of all three, that the city, on top of the required net school spending and the amount that we spend above that required amount, that the city is picking up the cost to the schools of $1.6 million in addition to. How this happened is the school committee, not everybody that's on the school committee now, but in the past, the city met with parents, city council was involved, and we have this long conversation about investing in our buildings because our buildings were not big enough. They were in poor condition. And so the plan at the time was, let's do something really different. Let's finance our projects for 10 years. Why? Anybody that's going to car loan, house loan knows the longer you borrow, the more it costs in interest. Let's do 10 years, and as these 10-year projects come up, that'll allow us to do another project and another project. We do all that without raising taxes, and we stay within our budget, and we get these projects done saving taxpayers dollars. So what we decided to do is we had this long conversation about, listen, we're not going to show around the state all these huge numbers in terms of going over the amounts that are required. So if somebody's comparing our communities, we're not going to show real high if that's all you're comparing. However, if you go to our debt service, if we spend money on our buildings, that is not going to count towards that. So what do? Well, you do required spending, and you add to it, and I'll show you in a minute that we're above net school spending or the required amount, plus transportation, and have a very generous transportation system, and you fix your buildings and build new buildings, and add all that up, and that's substantial from the taxpayers. However, when you do that, your numbers for required spending, overage, going over that amount, aren't going to be ridiculously high. Everyone agreed to that. Everybody thought the plan was great. No, we needed to invest in buildings and infrastructure, and so everybody understood that. And now, maybe in time we haven't communicated that properly, but clearly listen to, being at the public forum the other night and the public comment period for the budget, that somehow or another that message hasn't been communicated. So we'll go to the next slide, please. Tax increases going to schools. Let's just take a 2.5% increase in taxes. Under Prop 2.5, you raise about $1.7 million. The city's increase, budgetary contributions to schools in fiscal year 17 was about $1.6 million. So you see most of that tax increase ends up going directly to the schools. Next slide, please. And let's see. There's our, so we took and did an example. And people are like, well, how much does this cost if you raise our taxes to fund the next year's school budget? So there you are on the average tax bill of $231,000. So if your bill was $231,000, the tax rate's at $19.73. Your average bill is $4,700. Your bill would go up to about $250 per year. Now, that's an average house. If you were up around 350,000, you're talking 323. Anyway, you can see that would be a tax increase every year if we were to fund the school budget as proposed. Next slide, please. No, what happened to the net school spending budget? I guess that slide's not there. Any more slides here? There you go. Oh, there's the transportation cost. Now, this does not count towards net school spending. It has gone up from 2011 to 2016. It has gone up to $4 million, so it's gone up $1 million. And that's 90, and those amounts represent 92% of the total transportation cost. What was, I heard the other day at the public hearing, public forum, was that the city has to start picking up the cost. So clearly a lot of misinformation getting circulated out there that the city needs to start picking up the cost of transportation. The city does pick up the cost of transportation. That does not count towards our required spending. So you can see that improvements to buildings, transportation, do not count towards the required amount. So a community could literally have a very minimal bus service and only pick up what's required by law. They can not invest in their buildings and the maintenance of those buildings and just do patch jobs on the roof and fix what needs to get fixed, but just pretty much let them go. But add to that, take the money they save, or I guess not really saving, but take the money that they don't use in those two other areas, invest them into directly to what's counted by the state, and show up as a district that spends a whole lot more money, in theory. But they're not investing in their buildings. They're not offering the generous transportation system that we have. Therefore, there is a difference. Next slide, please. So here's the budget increases while student population remains flat in Leominster. It has fluctuated from 2012 to 2017. Net gain, if you add it all up, now some years we've been at 6,185, 6,184, and then we started to drop a little. We picked some up this year. But basically, between fiscal 12 and fiscal 17, there's a net gain of 3 students. And at the same time, the budget has gone up about $6.7 million between fiscal year 12 and fiscal year 17. And we go to the, okay. So over and over, I heard it on Monday night at the school committee meeting, and then on Tuesday for the budget hearing, public hearing, that the city barely meets net school spending. Now, barely for me is, I guess my interpretation, maybe not the Webster's dictionary, is I was running the marathon and I barely finished 9-minute miles, and I did 9.25 miles. 9-minute miles, 9.25 minute miles. And barely, barely, that's my interpretation of barely. But you can see the overage. So barely to me, and that gets repeated so many times that it becomes fact. So many times. In fact, last year, the Sentinel and Enterprise wrote a very, very comprehensive piece on net school spending. They called DESE. They went through our net school spending numbers, independent. If you remember 2 years ago on Easter, the incorrect numbers was submitted to DESE, which started a wave of articles in the newspaper and a flurry of upset parents and teachers in the school district saying we didn't spend, we were way under what we were supposed to spend. In reality, there you go, from fiscal year 07 to fiscal year 16, the city has gone over about $7 million. It's an average of $769,000 per year. Now, we can agree to disagree. Some parents looked at that and teachers and said, that's barely going over net school spending or our required amount. But again, if you ask me, I will tell you that is substantial. As a taxpayer, knowing the taxpayers in the city, knowing the city's finances, that once you add that 6.9, call it $7 million, then add the improvements to the schools, the generous improvements that we've made to the schools and new buildings projects plan that we've had. That is, to me, very substantial. So anyway, these are just some of the numbers. You see a minus 448,000 in 2011. That was because the city didn't spend the money. They didn't spend all the money that year, and we ended up having to give it back to them, or we ended up giving back to them in another year. So this is the claim that you hear over and over, is that the city barely spends barely spends over the required amount. However, as you can see, a total of from fiscal year 07 to 2016, total of $7 million, or if you want to average that to $770,000. And I think that might be it. Let's go. Okay, I guess we're back. So anyway, just a bunch of information. We'll do a more comprehensive show here at Inside Leominster, and it'll actually be more comprehensive than what you see there. So it'll be basically a state of the state. We'll talk about where the city's finances go. We'll talk about what's changing in the city budget. We'll talk about what's changing in the school budget, what our strategy is, why our bond rating is the way it is, what we spend our money on in free cash, what free cash is, what our stabilization account is, where we spend our money on stabilization or how we use it. And so get ready for that. I think that's pretty informative. People, again, seem to have gotten a lot out of it. We really tried to keep it simple rather than turn it into a specialist kind of jargon. And we hope you'll be able to show. We'll give you plenty of notice as to when that show is going to be. Hey, let's go to a, geez, I wanted to hear, we had some more music to play. Yeah, let's take a break and they'll come right back. Just because I'm in the mood for a little music. We have something else, right? Another break somewhere?
Long as I remember, the rain been coming down, clouds of mist drift pouring, confusion on the ground. Goodness through the ages, trying to find the sun, and I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain. I went down Virginia, seeking shelter from the storm. Caught up in the fable, I watched the tower grow. 5-year plans, a new deal, wrapped in golden chains. And I wonder, still I wonder, who'll stop the rain.
Oh, a couple of rain songs tonight. We're back. Inside Leominster is the name of the show. Dean Mazzarella is my name. I'm the mayor for the city. Happy to be with you. Thank you for joining us. We sort of listen to the community, get a pulse of things through social media. This time of year, we're out at events. People are asking us questions all of the time, and getting some feedback about the show and things happening in the city. So we put it all together, and that's what that's what the show is all about. We do have time for a couple of calls if somebody would like to call. 978-537-7760. I am working on my survey. We haven't done one in a long time. That's a chance where I have some questions. You get to call and give some very simple answers, yes or no's to most of them. And yeah, we get to have some fun. Let's go to pictures of the week, kiddos. And here's the budget hearing, a packed house. A lot of great comments and constructive, and that's what it's all about. That's what democracy is, an opportunity for people to come out, express their interest and their thoughts and ideas. Thank you for showing up. Hey, there we go. There's my grandson, Jamie. We had a pasta supper yesterday. This is at the end of the night when my grandson made his grand appearance, and there he is. He likes the sugar. He loves the sugar. He likes cakes and cookies. And, you know, after kids get a little dose of sugar after eating like peas and green beans out of them little cans, the little bottles, Gerbers, once they touch sugar, it's all over. That's my theory. Next slide, please. There's Sally. Sally Poirier's out there. Man, we just poured all day, and Sally and crew were out there today, and boy, Mr. Mezzer was out there assisting, trying to keep up with Sally. And boy, he's got some beautiful plants. Going to do some tropical plants this year as well. And so, when the sun kicks in on Saturday and Sunday, you're really going to be able to see the color that is taking place through the results of his very wet and some wetness and some sun, and the great work of Sally and team. So there's a picture of Sally. And we go to, hey, there's my partner, Frankie Bengrazi, retired now from the Leominster Police Department, 30-something years. He was my cruiser partner, midnight to 8, and then we both went down to the afternoon shift, and there we were last night. Frankie showed up to give us a little help in the meatball section. Next picture, please. There we are at the groundbreaking of the UMass Memorial Leominster campus, putting a much-needed, close to $30-40 million addition on. So needed up there at the ER. Going to be a great place, and they do a great job up there. You get great care. Even under the circumstances of a tight working area, they do a great job. So we had some fun and laughs. I think we had a lot of laughs while we were about to take that picture. So anyway, congratulations to them, and a great addition to the community. Thanks to all who showed up, city councilors, state senator, reps, everyone. Next slide, please. There is my friend, Alex DeGester. The guy is amazing. He's so funny and talented. He played 3 flutes at once. Guy's amazing. That was all part of the Feldman event. 10th anniversary of the Feldman event at the public library last Sunday. There's our Veterans Chorus, International. You got to be a veteran to sing. They did such a great job. Every song they performed was just one better than the other day. And it was just such a beautiful day. There they are, singing Fighting Soldiers from the Sky. It's the Green Beret song. Next slide, please. Oh, yeah, it was a great event at Showing. That was at the very beginning. We had Appleseed John walking around talking to kids and explaining some of the history of Johnny Appleseed and how he's 300+ years old. Great event. A lot of good crafters up there. It was a good day. And there is Susan Shelton and Josh Feldman. And there's Susan getting a little gift from the Feldman family on behalf of the Feldman family, in congratulating her and thanking her for the many years of service, because she's leaving. And the Feldman kids were talking about how they knew Susan as just a beginning employee, starting out at the public library. And they're Friday afternoons that they spent at the public library. And so that was a great day. And thank you, Susan. Only one of her, and she has a great staff and a great team. And the entire Feldman family for 10 years doesn't just send a representative. The entire family shows up. There's nothing better than that. When I say the world's run by those who show up, they clearly show up. So anyway, this weekend is extremely important for a number of reasons, most of which is it is Memorial Day week. This is not a parade, a day for parade. This is a procession and a day where we, as local elected officials and scouts and veterans, visit, acknowledge, salute, and recognize and thank all of our veterans that are buried in all of our cemeteries for their service to their country, their community, to their state, to their families. And so it all begins on Saturday with the Venture Crew. 151 Boy Scout Troop is having a pasta dinner held at the Leominster Veterans Memorial Center on Pond Street from 4:30 to 7:30. So even if you can't get there, call the Veterans Center and say, look, I can't get there, but I'd like to make a donation to help you with that. On Sunday is a motorcycle ride fundraiser for veterans in memory of PFC Kelly Walsh and North Worcester Fox and Coon Club. And that's 10 to 3. On Friday, this Friday, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. is the White Cross Twilight Ceremony. That's rain or shine. I understand there's been a donation made of a tent so that we can be at least covered up in case it rains. That starts at 6 o'clock promptly, so don't be late, 6 o'clock. Saturday, May 27th, is the flagging of the veterans' graves. The public is welcome to meet. They start at Evergreen. They do, it doesn't say where they congregate, but Evergreen Cemetery, St. Leo Cemetery, and St. Cecilia Cemetery. Then, on Memorial Day, we visit every single resting grounds. It starts at 7:15 with the veterans to assemble at the Veterans Center, 8 o'clock at Monument Square, 8:30 at St. Leo Cemetery, 9 o'clock at St. Cecilia's, 9 o'clock, yes, at St. Cecilia's, 9:30 to 10 is the respite at Franco-American, 10:30 the GAR lot at Evergreen Cemetery, and then the procession route goes, starts at 11, Veterans Plot, 11:20, Pine Grove Cemetery, 11:30, Memorial Circle at Carter Park, and then a reception to follow at Leominster Veterans Memorial. And something new this year is the Veterans Breakfast, Appreciation Breakfast, held at the Leominster Veterans Center, hosted by the Life Care Center up there on West Street. You must RSVP 978-5375, let's see, 538, 534-7538. And yes, and we will be out there giving flags as we do every year during the procession. And yeah, we will be giving myself and yeah. So, Pauline Roberge also assists every year. And, we give out a lot of flags, and a lot of kids are happy to see them, and a lot of adults. So we'll be there. Do we have time for that last call, or did he hang up? He's gone. Okay, hey, we've got a minute if you want to call back. We've just got a minute, but wanted to thank everybody. Met a lot of people out. You know, you meet people this time of year, everybody's outside and working on their yards and making improvements. Thank you for all you do. You make the city look great. All of the people that donated to our flower fund, all those flowers downtown, it looks so beautifully. All the banners are back up. We had a little bit of technical issue with the banners, but they're up in time for Memorial Day. The flags are up. Carter Park looks beautiful with all of the flowers that were planted by the DPW Rec Department, as well as Sally, our resident gardener, and just looks beautiful, and it takes everyone to help out. And sometimes, you know, you can't afford a lot, but you'd be surprised. $5 turns to 10, to 100, to 1,000, and that's all funds that we can use to help to beautify the community. If you haven't been by the Alzheimer's Park, absolutely beautiful. And we took a little bit of criticism in this whole school budget process where people said, well, you spent a lot of money on that Alzheimer's Park, you could have gave that to the school. Well, we did spend some because the wall was caving in, and it was our wall. And the driveway in the next door property was caving in, so we did have to build a wall and put a fence up on the wall. So yes, that was paid by taxpayers' dollars. However, the rest of it was all contributions from local businesses and residents who donated, I don't know, it's probably up to $15,000, $18,000 to build that park. A lot of its contributions and donations are in-kind contributions, from the loom and the sod to the flowers, to the plants, to the flagpole, to signs. That's what it takes, and that's how a lot of our projects were done, and it's a great team. We're out of time here at Inside Leominster. To all veterans out there and their families, we thank you. Good night, God bless you. The world is run by those who show up. Our veterans certainly showed up. Now you need to. Good night.